My name is Taisei from Taisei Discovers. I am here with the owner of Maui Wine up in the Ulupalakua Ranch. Let's first and foremost, let's tell people where we are situated.
Yeah, we are on the south slope of Haleakala, really right on the mountain above the Wailea Kihei area at about 2,000 foot in elevation.
2,000 feet in elevation,
Yeah.
so it's quite the trek to get here. You know, we've made the trip out here a couple of times. There's something serene and calming about the journey here. Can we talk a little bit about that?
It is, and I've been here 35 years, and it's been something we've always talked about. I think that the experience of coming to Ulupalakua, or coming to Maui Wine, is really the journey. It's part of our experience. It isn't separate from it. You are leaving areas that, the visitor areas, you've got, the beaches and all of that, and you're going up country. You're going to go through old agriculture land areas, communities, where people are living up here and really don't have a lot of access quickly to the ocean. It's a trek to go down to the ocean from here. So the drive is part of the experience because you're seeing so much more of Maui. Maui is vast, and we're at 2,000 feet. You look at Haleakala is 10,000 feet. The ranch itself goes from ocean level to 7,000 feet in elevation. So we have this split, we have this slice of the south side of Haleakala.
Awesome. Well, let's tell the story of Maui Wine, and we definitely want to share what the guest experience is like for all of you viewing. So yeah, let's take a walk.
Yes. Okay. Here's our entrance.
Maui Wine, the tasting room. So, this is much more than just a tasting room.
It is. We are very fortunate that if this location that we are on is, 200 years old and being a destination, a place. This was what we call Rose Ranch is what it was named in the 1800s, and it was a very well-run sugar plantation. Captain McKee was the owner at that point. So what Maui Wine is lucky to be able to do is that we are sitting on a historic location, actually an estate that was famous. It was renowned for celebrations, for special visitors that would come around the world. Again, like I mentioned, our location to the ocean, the visitors arrived from ships and came up the roads from Makena up into Ulupalakua. They would make that trek back and forth from ships.
Give me a time reference.
1860s to 1879, right around in there was really the most active part of that time. The sugar plantation, Captain McKee had settled here. He was a ship's captain who ended up having to convalescent in Hawaii and fell in love with it, was able to get this land and sent his family from Massachusetts to all come live here. He put in the sugar plantation, and still to this day, I think he was a man ahead of his times. He's responsible for many of the things that are sitting here today that are still here. He brought water to the sugar plantation, which was right down this side. The stacks of the mill are still there.
Okay.
So it's kind of the ruins of the sugar plantation, but the plantation was here, and the mill, which there are still patents on sugar equipment that he designed in that era of time. And then here was his home. Here was the estate, and this is where everyone would come to visit, to party, to have celebrations. Now we're a very quiet, rural, cowboy, winery, agriculture area, but in that time, there was a lot going on. It was an active community, and there was probably hundreds of workers and people that lived out here that today it's a very small, private space. So we're really pleased that as the winery, being here, we've been able to open up and keep alive these historic buildings and gardens, walkways. I feel like from the winery standpoint, I'm happy we're here because I think we kept this parcel of the ranch alive and open.
Yes, and true to the history.
Yes.
And if you think about it, when you talk about Captain McKee and David Kalākaua, which we'll talk about soon, he was hosting people, and now with this tasting room, with visitors that come here to learn about the history and experience the entirety of the Maui Wine experience, you're also hosting people. So like almost bearing the torch
Oh, it is. I mean, I feel like there's just a huge relationship. Captain McKee, even in doing what he did, he was innovative, right? He was innovative in agriculture, and he was full of hospitality. People came from around the world, and they would bring him. He loved plants. It was called Rose Ranch because his wife Catherine, that was her favorite flower. And I've got documents that say there was over 100 different roses growing on the property. It would have these where people would come and they would be writing what they saw, and there was roses from, you know, over their head and trees and down below. So when people came to visit, they would bring him gifts of trees. You're going to see around our property, we have multiple trees that are on the majestic trees of Hawaii list right now. Many of them planted in the 1870s that are still here today and doing really well. So happy in this soil, in this location. But he's responsible for even this walkway we're walking on right now. We've repaired it, but this was a walkway that had sides, berms on either side. All of the walkways did. And they collected rainwater. And that rainwater went into cisterns. We have multiple cisterns on the property. The rain was collected, and then that was taken to the sugar plantation to water the sugar. So he collected water from all over these areas. There's underground places that they go. There's cistern. We have cistern here, a cistern here, cistern in our parking lot we just walked through that's been filled in. So his innovation in agriculture and the fact that people love to get invited here. They would come, there's stories of, you know, drinking champagne, having pageants, rodeos, parades, evening dinner, ballroom dancing. All of that was happening in this location. So the winery has this responsibility and desire, of course. It's like hospitality. We're inviting people here. Come see this location. And to continue the innovation of agriculture, you know, definitely in a small scale, but the vineyard's now been here for 50 years. So our diversity of trying something very different, just like he did when he started sugarcane up here and was successful in it, it's like we're our small scale doing our vineyards.
Yeah. You know, I want to get this tree. Let's get this tree.
Oh, yes.
Look at how big this thing is. And we can stand next to it for a reference for the viewers.
Now, so this is the walkway that actually would walk originally down to the sugar plantation or to the mill. So this would go straight down. Even when I came, there was a gate right here and it went out across. And so this is many of the trees that were gifted as well. I mean, look at the size of that. I love that when I see people come visit and they're wandering around the yards and they're just, they're hugging a tree. But it's the immenseness of this.
So this, I mean, this is the same, this tree knew David Kalākaua.
Yes. No, it did. He would have come right through this path. The partner to this tree was right here. It had to come down many, many years ago. But these were part of the entrance. The house, his estate, was stretched right out on this lawn ahead of us. And so, yes, that this was definitely where everyone walked in these paths.
So I see the guests starting to arrive. How many people will visit here on a normal day?
Oh, you know what? We're going to probably see 150 to 200 people a day. It is a small location. Again, we go back to the history. These are the buildings that were built 100 years ago. We don't build new buildings. We really haven't been able to build new buildings. And so what there is, and you'll see that as you learn as well about the ranch, we're repurposing buildings. You go to our cellar and you go, oh, well, what is our laboratory for making wine used to be a dairy. And then it was a laundry. It was a dairy before, you know, that was a part of them making money while the sugar plantation was growing. And so you just repurpose buildings you have, the same way with the old stone building we're going to go into later, where the visitors are being greeted now and get to sit in the yard and look out and participate inside. Is the middle part of that building is what we call the King's Cottage. It was actually built for King Kalākaua shortly after his inauguration. I would think it was just before he was starting his world tour. His entire entourage came to Ulupalakua. He was good friends with Captain McKee. And the stories are that they stayed for like a week, and it tells of this wonderful journey of them being greeted down at McKenna, coming up with torchbearers and wagons and this entire group to come and to stay. The community had done this huge this welcome sign for him out of flowers that was, plastered across the lawn. They had pageants. They danced hula. He was known to sit on that porch, have a glass of champagne. So, we're supposed to be here. He drank champagne here. They enjoyed that and the festivities and the gardens. And so, for us to do that today, it seems very natural.
I agree with you. So, tell me, this is not your ordinary tasting experience.
No.
How does Maui Wine's tasting experience differ from what you might experience elsewhere?
Yeah, it's so hard, and it's something that we've really looked at. Again, we're going on our 50th year, which seems like we should know more, but we're constantly learning and doing. But we are the only winery on Maui doing this. And, you may go to a typical wine growing area and tasting area, and you go there to do that, taste wines. Here we have our customers and guests, people there are visiting Maui, and we're an excursion. We're like, oh, let's go somewhere. This is something different. And the reality is we are something a little bit different. We aren't going to have a whole setup to go, here, this is your fee, this is what you're going to get for your tasting. We want to slow down, and we want to be able to share the wines with you because we have a really eclectic group of wines. So you come in and we have a more of a customizable experience where the staff will help you in telling you about our wines. Many people are coming up just going, wait, tell me about the trees. They're looking at something else. But you get to go through our tastings and a customized experience. You get to go, oh, I like this kind of wines. Let me try that. Or I've never tried something like that, which we love. We still do pineapple wines, which is the first wine that ever was produced from here, made from Maui-grown pineapples. So you're kind of like, hey, you're here? You've never tried that? You have to try that. So we're more about sharing.
Okay, so this it's wonderful because I feel like it's almost like a retreat in a way.
It
right?
is.
Where you can come and almost get into a meditative state because of the energy that's here. You're getting the Mauna energy. You get the visuals of the beautiful Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
You look at the little white caps of the wind and you see the currents going. You see other neighboring islands. You have the energy of all these trees. And then you also have wine that showcases a sense of place of where you're at.
Yes.
The totality, the entirety of the experience for me is mind-blowing.
No, and it is our foundation. It doesn't make any sense for, struggle. How do you be a winery on Maui? How does that make any sense? And so I'm so blessed that the owner of Ulupalakua Ranch, when he purchased this ranch in 1963, and in 1974 he started the winery. And it was with a gentleman who, he had the wine background. It was his idea, and it was like, okay, well, here, take this building. Here's a place that was a vegetable farm. You can use this to start. And it became this experiment. See what you can do.
Yeah.
Give it a try. I've got this land, I've got these buildings, give it a try. I really don't know that, anything at that time that they thought we would still be here today, and growing and continuing to change. But that was the spirit that launched us. So that entrepreneurial adventure spirit with the foundation being, it's got to be local. It's got to be true to Maui, to Ulupalakua. And, we've been blessed to kind of have that support through the ranch to be able to adventure and continue to grow in diversified agriculture, which was not very common here in Maui in the 1970s and 80s.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that. Ulupalakua, we mustn't forget, that's where we're located.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So Ulupalakua, almost 20,000 acres. How many of those acres is Maui Wine?
Very, very, very small. I mean, we're just a little dot in all of this. So you look at our location here, where visitors come, our cellar on this side, our operations. I believe this is just a little under 4 acres.
Wow.
You know, that's
Yeah.
a small piece. The vineyard, we have fenced almost 60 acres. Most of that is not usable for grapes, but that's how we've got it fenced in the quarters, and we have about 20 acres in production right now in vines. So we're just a small spot.
A small spot.
In a
little
large
speck,
ranch. Yes.
But with a big impact.
Well,
right?
and because of this space that we were able to be in.
Okay.
You know, look at this space.
Fortunate is MauiWine. What's your relationship with the ranch?
Well, we're actually my partner in the ranch, or my partner as the winery is the ranch. The ranch has always been involved in the ownership of the winery. And so they lease this property to us. But they're that supporting piece of falling into line with what can you learn? Can you be better? How can we do this? How do we do it here? How do we do it the right way? And the ability to be good in your community. You know, provide value, provide jobs. As a winery, we're able to donate and be around and be in places. We're able to think of our pineapple wines. You know, thank goodness that Maui Gold is still being grown on the slopes as you drive to Ulupalakua. They're there. Well, we're able to put Maui Gold pineapple into a value-added product as Maui Blanc, Hulua Maui, Maui Splash, and ship it around the world. You know, share Maui Gold with people around the world in the form of a bottle of wine that is stable.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I can't wait to taste some of this stuff.
You need to. You know, you've got lots of trees that you can do. The Kauri is a really good story. That's a May magical tree right there. That's an incredible tree.
Yeah, let's get that one.
Well, the camphor right now remember I said that Captain McKee's wife, Catherine, her favorite flower was roses, and the location was filled with rose bushes. Well, these are what we call Catherine's planters. And initially, see, this was the walkway down to the sugar mill, and they had planters that were filled with flowers. We right now are trying to figure out which flowers to grow in, and we're constantly changing and making that work.
What about roses?
Well, we do. We do have roses. We were doing the Lokilani rose, which our wine is named after, and our enologist is actually really into gardens and flowers, and he's propagating them, and we are starting to spread them around the property.
I seen them on the vines.
Yes, yes, and we do them on the vines because they're kind of like they're an indicator. A bug is going to hit that rose bush before it hits the vine. So if we see, oh my goodness, the rose bush is all eaten up, we know there's an insect there that is going to hit the vines next. So those are indicators of a problem coming.
Yeah, there's multiple reasons for those roses there.
Yes,
right?
and they're beautiful.
And an ode to the historic nature of this place.
Yeah, they are. This is one of the really spectacular trees on property, and there's not many in Hawaii. There are a few. Very, very slow growing. So again, you know, planted in, say, the 1870s. So, you know, and it's considered an infant, that it's supposed to live 2,000, 3,000 years. It's an Australian or Queensland Kauri, Kauri. And it was originally, the Kauris were planted in Hawaii during the whaling industry to replace a ship's mast, because they grew so straight. I mean, look at this tree, just straight up, and very hard wood. What happened though, it grew so slow that sailing was done by the time that these trees would have matured. But this is one that you often see people come right up to, and just like what you did with the cook pine, it's like going, wait, you know, how large is this? I had a group of kids from the culinary school came up on an adventure. They all got together in a circle and grabbed hands for their field trip photo. But it is a monster. Very, very hardwood. I don't know how many in Hawaii, but not many.
And you said it's on some type of list, right?
Yeah, we have the Outdoor Circle years ago would put together what they call the Majestic Trees of Hawaii list. We have numerous trees on those lists. So the Bunya Bunya in the back here.
Bunya Bunya,
Bunya
what is
Bunya.
that?
It's
Is it a
it's
pine?
another pine. Yep, it's another pine. This is a hoop pine. that's over here. There's rings on the tree, like hoops.
Okay.
This is a very, very old orchid tree that we've been actually nursing back. When the Italian cypress were over here, it kind of dwarfed it and the tree was hidden in the shade, and it's really coming back now. That tree is filled with butterflies, hundreds of butterflies.
Monarch?
Yeah. Yes,
Monarch
it is
butterflies?
really, it's wonderful. And then the camphor tree here.
The camphor tree.
Camphor tree
So that
from
one's
India.
That one's super interesting because you know, so essential oils.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Camphor. When you pick up, is this one of them?
Anywhere is a stick. Yeah. Smell it.
This one's a little faint. I had a fresher one earlier that was.
You dig in the soil here, and you are going to make it something a little bit drier.
Well, yeah, no. So it kind of reminds me, like it is an essential oil. What is camphor oil good for?
Well, like camphorphenique, do you remember the medicine? Almost was kind of maybe something like a tea tree of sorts. I don't know. I'm not well versed in that, but I have. I've seen people come and collect them for boiling, to get the aromatics to go in the house if people have colds, like I do.
Okay.
And so just to get things out there, give good aromas. They smell wonderful. We have actually, trees are living. Things are going to happen. They're going to get older, and we have times where trees come down, and we have used those trees. There's a sawmill on the ranch, and so we have repurposed that as well.
The Italian cypress.
The Italian cypress into the statues that are replicating King Kalākaua's hula circle. But we also have they made fences, and it's our fences for the parking lot. The eucalyptus are part of our parking lot. We have a cook pine comes down, or a Norfolk. We look at the walls inside our tasting room. Those are built from those trees. Tables, when we have an event and the tables all come out in the yard, they're filled with tables that were built from these trees. And so the camphor that just recently lost a limb, we're looking now for what are the pieces, how are we going to use that tree and implement them into our operation. Keeps them alive.
I love that. You're repurposing, the history of this place.
And beautiful wood.
And I was thinking, I can only imagine how amazing a wine dinner would be here at sunset with string lights, and almost reminiscent of like the days when King Kalākaua and Captain McKee were throwing big events, and the hula dancers, almost recreating.
No, and we have so many opportunities, that we could do because of this grand location we have, and so many people want to be here on it. And so it's also, there's a lot of things we could do, and sometimes there's choices that we say, but you know what, this is a community. The ranch has cowboys. They're 24/7. Anything can happen on a ranch. This is where everyone lives. So late night things are not something we typically do, but we do our share of having, fun little events and kind of exploring more. I have a lot of chefs who would love to have an event out here and do it. So mostly our wine club gets to right now benefit from some of those. We will fill the yard with tables, chairs, a musician, pour the drinks out of, a bar over there, and let them have. It's going back to what you said. And wine club, if you look at a wine club event, many of them, they're going to show up here for one, are people that live here. And they have become such a strong support system, especially since COVID. I'm just endeared by how the locals have embraced us. And so for them to come and sit in the yard and then listen to them going, oh, we're so glad you invited us. We just want to sit here. They're just in an Adirondack. They may not be talking to anybody next to them, and they're just sitting in the yard. And their yard, they don't have to worry about right now, because they're in our yard. Sunday afternoons, I'll come up and I'll walk through the thing, and it's like, I know this person and this person. Like, oh, we did yard work all day, and now we just wanted a glass of wine, and we're going to sit here and relax, and this will make us feel like we had a good weekend. And so, or we're coming on date night. We're here for date night. And it's just really wonderful that we can be that for people.
Paula, that's so awesome that you said that, because I was going to ask you about what kind of local support you have when the tourists are not flying in, or if it's a slow season vacation-wise. It's really important that there's a local presence at the winery. right? So that hearing that you do have that support and you can be that place of almost like refuge when life gets too crazy for the
Yes.
locals to come up.
This is where you come.
To me, that's amazing.
Yes.
And I think that to build a local following is very important, especially in a place that depends on tourism.
Yes, no, very much so. And we really did that in the renaming of the company as well, to go, how fortunate are we to be Maui's winery? We are. And so we, you know, initially we started out and there was a lot that went, the vineyards had to grow for 20 years, right? It took a long time before we could get vineyard information and vineyard wines out to everybody. There's a long learning curve in this. And so when it was more of the pineapple wines and the different things, that was definitely more of a tourism sort of business at that time, and it needed to be. I mean, we're here today because of that following, being able to have that much fruit juice and turn it into wonderful products and ship it around the world and share it with people. But as we've also come to age in the last 10, 15 years, our local clientele, our guests, they just love the story of what we're doing. You know, if they can get into the vineyard and they can see it and then they can taste a wine from it and they can come visit and talk to Henry and ask him what he's doing and see something in a barrel room, and they've like joined our journey, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And we just recently had a 50th year anniversary out here where we went through the past, the present, and the future, and we did stations for them to taste wines that represented each one of those with our winemaking staff and everyone. And I think that, you know, we were thanking them for supporting us through some really trying times, and to watch our journey. A lot of people said, there's no way we're gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. It's not gonna work. You can't do this. The wine can't be good enough, blah, blah, blah. So it was that thank you of going, you've come through this journey with us, and to be able to share it. But that event, it really kicked back, and they were getting up and going, no, we thank you. And it was a really, you know, it was kind of, oh, wait, what is this? You know, it was a little turn. But part of it is that they're getting to experience some of these things through us, and being able to come here and be part of what we're doing, be a part of it.
Yeah, I can honestly say that Maui Wine has changed my life. It has. Our relationship, I mean, almost to the day, a year ago is when we first met, and it wasn't nothing that was planned. It just happened, and then our spirits connected. We got to experience how wonderful you and the Hegele family is.
Thank
Roger,
you.
Joe, Lindsay, you know,
Colin
Henry,
and Henry.
Colin. If anything breaks, I know that guy's fixing it. You know what I mean?
Thank goodness, because Joe and Henry do break things.
Yeah, but the collective, the little family ecosystem, the ohana that's working together here is something that's very special that I do want to highlight as well. Like, this is not some family that you're hiring all kinds of people and putting them through hard labor. Your family is the one that is working extremely hard alongside all the locals that you hire.
Right.
Right?
But, you know, that was not the intention. Like I said, I don't know if there was a lot of intention about what's going to happen with the company. And I just feel that so much goes back to what Part Erdman, the owner of Ulupalakua Ranch, with his family, his vision, and his just kind of going, you know what, Paula, if you want to give this a try, because I came in at a time where it was like, this probably doesn't make sense. Maybe it's time to just say this was an era. And it was like, you just go do this, and you let me know when you need help. I'll have your back. And so that ability, think of that freedom, you know, a lot of responsibility, but freedom to go, okay, how do you just keep, and it was always these rules of learn, get better, be good in your community, be a good employer. And, you know, we've never been a large employer. Probably at the most I've had 30 employees. Currently we maybe have 23. The boys all went away for college and school and homes, and have just found, like, well, you know, I always said they can't come help me. That's not what, I'm not asking for that help. But they have found themselves here. They feel very special to be here, a part of something they'd never get a chance to be a part of, right? You couldn't create this somewhere else. So that same thing that, you know, Part gave me, it's like, they're like, hey, we can, and so as a unity, we can fight and we can get along, But I can always count on them.
Yeah.
I can always count on them. And we have an incredible team. I'm very fortunate to have in the back of the house especially, I mean, just loyal, our production supervisor, our cellar master, our enologist, people that are just so committed to being here and love the fact that this is a job nobody else has. You know, this is a unique opportunity.
Wow. Well, I do have one ask of you. The next time you do one of these events, Kenji and I would love to
Would
be
you like
here.
an invitation?
Please, at least. I'll help you serve the wine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that'd be fun for me as well. That's what I do for a living. So,
No, and they
thank you.
are amazing.
Thank you.
In May, we have one in the Vineyard. Everybody brings their own lawn chair.
Ah.
We have a chef and a band, and you just come.
We just come and
You
enjoy.
just enjoy sunset.
Enjoy sunset. Well, that sounds like a wrap.
Hi, I'm Paula Hegele. I'm the president of Maui Wine. Coming up country is an adventure. And we want people to see it as that. You're not just coming for a glass of wine, we hope you do, maybe a bottle of wine, but you're coming for an adventure to see something different. See another part and place of Maui. It kind of steps back in time. There's not a lot of people. There's wonderful birds, which you can hear in all this, these big trees. It is certainly, every winery wants a sense of place, and they want that to showcase in their wines. And for us, our sense of place is built upon this location. And we invite people to come and step in it, be part of it.
That's my brother Taisei. I'm Kenji. Together, we're bringing you the future of wine. Join us as we discover vineyards, wineries, flavors, countries, and most importantly, the innovators who are redefining the wine industry. There's a story in every sip. There's a journey in every bottle. Our goal is to bridge the gap between the traditional culture and the emerging future of wine, breaking all kinds of stereotypes along the way. And if you want us to try your wine here in one of our blind tastings, or you want us to visit your vineyard, fill out the contact form in the description below. Thank you.